All right, guys, what's up? It's me, Daniel, with VintageMagic.com. Thanks again for joining another conversation. So today's video is going to be about the decline of Magic the Gathering players. It's been a conversation that's been going on for a while. I believe Rudy from Alpha Investments kind of piloted this, and then MTG Lion discussed some of this. There's been some tweets about it, back and forth. Mark Rosewater, stated a number of about 40% of Magic players have declined in the last 2 or 3 years or something. And I believe there was some numbers floating around 8 million players have declined for the last few years. Now, regardless of what the numbers players have lost, double-digit loss of player count, and also let's just say 1 million players or 100,000 players or 500,000 players, whatever. That's still a lot of players who have left Magic for that period of time. It's very scary. So we're going to dive into that topic. But before we start with some of this conversation, because I have a very interesting take on what I think is going on and what should be done, I wanted to tell the patrons, I forgot to add this for the last patron video. These are Magic the Gathering poker decks. Yes, poker decks. They're sealed poker decks, Magic back. And what these are they were promotional items back in the early days of Magic. And there's been different versions of it. So these are the Card of Monday. This says made in Belgium. I don't know if you guys can see this. It says made in Belgium. And these are the Card of Monday versions, and they're really, really cool. Obviously, the typical, I believe, 52 cards plus 2 Joker poker decks. And so I'm offering these for the patrons that have, you could sign up now. It's for any patrons in December. So this will basically be another added bonus. They retail for about $125 to $150. So I have seen these sold for that much. And I'm going to offer them to the patrons $75 a deck, plus shipping. Shipping is usually about $5 or so, $6, something like that, for one deck, or actually for multiple decks. But if you, I'll give you guys the same offer. Actually, I'll do the offer for it'll be 2, 3, and 4. So basically, you can buy 2 as a player tier maximum, 3 as a collector tier, 4 as an investor tier, and then that's what I'll offer for each deck. Now, these are limited in supply, so don't, I don't have an exact count, but I don't want to I don't want to say that's unlimited run. So if a ton of you sign up wanting these, this is a great holiday gift. So keep that in mind, that these are not going to be around long. So they'll be on the Patreon page below, and that's public. You can sign up for the tier and help support the channel. There's also, obviously, we do Magic singles and packs, that are monthly. And also I have other types of specials if you help support the channel for longer terms of periods of time. So be sure to check all the Patreon posts on the page below. So again, $75 plus shipping for patrons. This is a really cool Christmas present, right in time for Christmas. Poker decks, official poker decks by Magic the Gathering. Back in, I don't remember the exact years. I think it was in the 90s. It wasn't 2000s. All right, so let's talk real quick about this subject. The subject what I mentioned before about the decline of Magic players, the decline of growth itself for Magic. One thing I have a question about this is, where are they getting their numbers? I mean, can someone help me out and tell me where in the world is Wizards getting the numbers for the decline of their players? I don't understand. Or where's Rudy from Alpha Investments getting numbers? I need to know. And I think Mark Rosewater mentioned something, but where are these numbers coming from? Are they third-party, unbiased metrics? I mean, statistics that are just, what are they measuring? Because that matters more than anything. The measurement of how you're getting your numbers That means everything, right? So that depends on, and that determines the accuracy of the whole equation. But let's assume a couple things. Let's assume that there's millions of players lost, or 100,000, whatever you want to talk about. It doesn't matter. You lose players, you lose people in the game. You wonder, is it due to, buyer fatigue, wallet fatigue? Is it due to, quality of products? Is it due to all the, the crap, the flooding of the products itself? There's too many, and the types of products, like Iconic Masters is a disaster. It's sold for, I think it's sold for like $145 a box. People just want to get rid of the box. So the question is, what exactly is the root of the problem? And it took me, I'm actually doing this video later than anybody else has talked about this conversation, because I actually figured out a potential solution long term. And you always want to, I'm the type of guy that wants to determine what is the root cause of the issue. It doesn't matter, like, if you put Band-Aids on everything and just, cover your face up and like, oh, things have changed. Oh, let's open it. Let's start another set. Let's start another master set. Let's put in another, gift box. Let's do something, with the big box companies. It's all a Band-Aid. It's not organic. It's not real, right? So in order to actually have organic growth and get in the root of the problem, we got to figure out what exactly was the problem and solve this problem. So I don't know if anybody from Wizards watches this channel. Maybe one day, if I reach to a large enough subscriber count, I get lots more views. Maybe my influence will get there. But I hope someone from Wizards is watching this, because this idea, I think, actually is exactly why other companies have kept it going longer than other companies who have failed. Let's look at the example of Disney. Yes, Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid. Oh. You guys know that song? Da, 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 da. You guys don't even know that song because my singing's bad, but that's from The Little Mermaid. And my whole point about Disney was, I was just in Disneyland area doing some business and, take a little time off for my son, Nick. And I realized something very, very important. I walked around and I saw these kids and adults and even grandparents. Some, went there by themselves, some with their kids, some from they're from all over the world. Doesn't matter. I met more people internationally in the world is always at Disneyland or Disney World or wherever you want to go. They love it. People go there and buy the products, the experiences of it all. I mean, I think the tickets are like $130 now a ticket. You can, they're cheaper if you buy multiple days, but they're spending, thousands of dollars on hotel and food, and and the Mickey ears, for example, the Minnie Mouse ears are like $25 minimum. The costumes are like, $200 to $300, $400, $500 a dress for like a Frozen dress. Disney purchased, Pixar, and they purchased Star Wars. Now you're probably wondering, why the hell am I talking about Disney? And how does this relate to Magic the Gathering? And I want you guys to think about this, because I actually believe this is the reason why Magic needs to think about this. Disney's been around for a very long time, much longer than Magic. Magic's nearing 25 years. I believe Disney is, almost 75, almost 100 years, right? Well, past 75 years, I believe. And the reality is, there's something that keeps going on with Disney where people still keep going back to Disneyland. They bring their children. They still buy the products. They still watch the new movies, the old movies. They still stream. They have Disney TV. They have other products that just keep going and going and going. Memorabilia, artwork. And you're always coming back to your childhood, your nostalgia. And I talk about this, I preach about this like a freaking, preacher. But that is the main reason that I think Wizards needs to look at is the root of their business. The problem with their business model right now is that they're producing a cool game. The game's cool. I just watched like the Command Zone with Jimmy Wong and Josh Lee Kwai. They make a great show, and they're playing Commander and Draft and other cool sets. I just watched the Unstable one with Mark Rosewater and Gavin, and for Wizards, and I thought it was really cool. I think it makes me want to go play the game. But the root of the problem isn't the game at specific ages. The people that love the game already love the game, right? Wizards could just mess it up completely and they're just diehard fans, right? That's the category. It's diehard fans. And they've keeping that diehard fan for a while. Now, you also want to introduce new players. That's one area that I'll talk about here in a second. But you also want to keep existing players that are all kind of casual on the fence. Let's talk about new players. The reason why Disney is so effective here is that they start at the earliest age possible. I know Magic is a game that requires you to read and to think and strategize, and not everybody, women, don't like the game. They don't like strategy games. They don't like video games. Even some young boys. But for example, my son Scott, he's 8 years old. When he was 8 years old, I think even 7, I started showing him Magic and showing him how to read the cards and discussing how the game works. And as he got older, now he's 9 years old, he's kicking my butt playing old school Magic, but he can read so well. He sees also the strategy of the game, the dynamic of not just attacking all the time, but having card advantage, and to be able to do combos and watching for specific signals on players, reading people. There's lots of dynamics to Magic, social interaction, right? That can be taught at a young age. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Dan, that means the dads need to step up to the plate and speak to their kids about playing Magic, right? Correct. And so Magic being a 25-year-old game, guys like me who's in a later 30s finally have kids. We're actually showing our kids how to play Magic. And I invite all the dads and even the moms to have a game night, to introduce Magic, to play Magic with their kids. May it be a format that's old school, or a format like drafting of anything. Just get kids involved, and if they find it fascinating, that's great. But I think that's what's a problem in the Magic arena, and Wizards needs to promote it for the children and promote the game for children too, and get them involved, get parents involved. I like the MTG Arena idea. I think it's a good idea. It brings more of a digital aspect of the game, and it makes it easy to follow. And I see why they're doing that, because it captures the kids' mindset too. But the card game itself is what I think is the root of what Magic's trying to keep going, and they're losing that interest more and more. Now the question is, how do you get the adults to show the kids, hey, let's promote the game? Obviously, Disney has something going for it, where it has cartoons, it has stuffed animals, and they got all these movies. See, Magic, what they could do is they could start selling products that, like a coffee mug of Jace the Mind Sculptor, or like a water bottle of Jace the Mind Sculptor, or like Leona the Veil, or whatever. Just different memorabilia, not just those little pop bobblehead dolls, right? But more of that idea will help, help the equation of nostalgia, because you're collecting, you're recognizing characters at a young age. I mean, by the way, any of these suggestions these are my opinions, but I think they're valid in the sense that as a combination, they could work. Another thing I would say is like schools. This is very big. I know, Matt, I know Monopoly is, used in some schools, and I know that Scrabble and other games are, used. Why not use Magic as an educational tool in some way to teach kids how to strategize and read cards and play a game? Maybe have a educational version of Magic format where they can play and they can learn how to read and learn basic reading and strategy. And they can also have some fun, and you can even like relate it towards math equations and stuff like that. Like what I really like about what I like about Unstable was it's outside the box. It's something that is unique. It does things that are, more probability driven. Why not create Magic like, how Monopoly has like FedEx Monopoly, Boston Celtics, real estate Monopoly, right? Different monuments. So basically you have different versions of Magic. So basically what you're doing is you're teaching kids how to play the game without ruining the fundamentals of the game. You still do the whole concept, but then maybe go to their level so they can recognize history and, maybe have historical Magic where you have planeswalkers that are like George Washington or something, where you're teaching the kids abilities that relate to history. There's a lot you can do here, and I don't know what the legal ramifications are, but I believe that with historical things you could do that because it's been around for such a long time. There's no copyright, so why not do something with the kids that way? There's a lot you can do. I mean, it's almost infinite the amount of stuff you can do, and it's not just having like a Wizards of the Coast person at the schools and like showing them how to play. It's about just, it starts also at the LGS level, because the issue with the LGS stores is that they're getting berated with a lot of different products and they're trying to survive. They're trying to make margin on everything. The singles, the pop, the people coming in. And the products that Wizards are producing, there's no bond, right? I mentioned this before, like, why not have like a Wizards rep with the LGS stores when you're developing their business, because they're licensing your product essentially. They're promoting your product. And in order to sell more product, you need to show them the sales pitch and show them, hey, how do I play Magic? How do I play the game? And this also, this is a Wizards thing too. Like I saw the professor pointed out this video about this this starter box thing where it's like $9.99 and you get 2 free decks that Wizards would normally give for free, and they're selling them for $9.99 at like Target or $14.99. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're free, and I think you get like 2 dice. It doesn't make any sense. You're offering products that are not like they're free products. They're giveaways, essentially. See, the problem here is you need to get people in the door to learn to play Magic. That's what you need to do. That's the point of the game, right? The point of the game isn't to make them pay and maybe play and get bored of it, essentially. Magic is a game that's complex too, right? You need, it also requires friendship. So the other thing is you need to actually have people that are involved, and that makes it easier, by the way. If you have friends that play Magic, a play group, it's easier to play. But you need to find ways to introduce Magic at an early age, whatever it may be, with the schools, at the LGS level, and with the adults. The adults need to feel like Magic is a game that they can teach their family and their kids. So I kind of talked about like the early stages, and then how about retaining customers? This is a very big subject because there's a lot of people that are diehard fans, but there's people that are casual and on the ropes, and they just are quitting and they're selling their decks. The major problem here is that Wizards needs to print cards. They need to produce as much product as they can so they can sell as much product and make more profits for the shareholders, for Hasbro. The problem here is that if you do it too much and you have too much frequency, like they did with the other blocks, and they've changed it, it just dilutes all of the value of the cards. There's no value for the cards. There's no collecting. There's no nostalgia. Like I mentioned in my other videos, and I'll say it again, the issue there is that there is no collecting of the sets. They just sell the cards quickly. The standards cards are worth nothing. Then let's say you buy some cards for $100 and then you go off and sell them. They sell for nothing. Pennies to the dollar. Maybe 10 bucks, 20 bucks. Because they rotate it out. They're not used anymore. There's no longevity for the cards. And because there's so many cards, there's no rarity involved in terms of value. No one cares. So this is a massive dilemma. A massive dilemma for people that are coming into the game. And they think of this game as a collectible card game. It's not just for fun, like I'm just going to play a game, but they have to have value. Otherwise, when you draft or you trade or you go to the store, and why do you think people actually buy these packs sometimes? They're kind of gambling, right? They want the art of pulling the pack and, you know, ripping out that Planeswalker or a foil card and, you know, whatever, right? Foil Jace the Mind Sculptor or foil Force of Will like Eternal Masters. They want to have that feeling of the chase. Why do you think sports cards and collectibles remain? It's all about the chase. There's no game. It's purely nostalgia. It's all collecting, right? So you got to think about this. Like, if you do not build more of a collectible in the later years, and this is where the conversation about the reserve list occurs, where there was this discussion by Rudy from Alpha Investments, and then Open Boosters did a very interesting video about expanding the reserve list. Now, I have to say, I actually agree with some of the rhetoric that's been said, the thoughts, because while I understand that the reserve list was kind of, you know, something to protect the investors back in the day, it actually makes perfect sense. What is the point of printing Termagoyf 30 million times until it's worth nothing? There's going to be so much supply of it. The value of the card, the people holding the cards, they're just going to be worthless one day. The dealers end up, you know, buying into certain cards for their inventory, and they become even less and less by double digits. So you got to ask yourself, maybe that is a solution, a way to increase the box prices over time and give consumer confidence back to the people. And that will eliminate some wallet fatigue. You'll sell more boxes. People will buy more boxes because they see it as an investment, and they'll want to draft more because the box itself has value. And it's fun. Magic itself is already fun. But I also think from relationship standpoint, I think there needs, and you know, I'm not going to dive into the Wizards, the whole controversy with unsleeved media, all that kind of stuff, you know, about Christine Sprankle leaving Magic, which sucks. She's a very nice lady. I had some opportunity to talk to her before. I think what the issue here, what I find with the whole situation is there's a lot of just negativity in Magic in general. I talked about this in the podcast you'll find below, Kitchen Table Magic, but one of the things I hope for people in the world and just in our community is let's stop the hate, let's stop the fighting, let's stop it. I mean, seriously, it's the trolling, it's horrible, it's toxic. The bullying, the memes, everything is toxic. And I'm not pinpointing specific people, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not healthy for any community. I really think this is a major part of the community, is that, so you have this core community that's divided. That's like from here's one side, on the other side. It's just like our politics in America today. It's divided, and you're not having a unified Magic community that is working together, enjoying the game, and building. You have people hating each other, literally hating each other. That's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to fix. You know, that's one of the more challenging, complex things. So this entire video is more of a, I would say, more of a broader spectrum view. My hope is if you're watching this video, you will look at some of these points and be like, yeah, you know, maybe I can teach my kids. Maybe I can visit an LGS store. Give your LGS store recommendations. Seriously, everybody. Don't just say go to LGS stores. You need to treat them like a restaurant or a hotel, whatever, and you need to give them feedback on what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right. And have the balls to do it, essentially. Like LGS stores need to do the same thing. You're a retail outlet, right? A retail store. You are about the customer service of the world, right? You need to ask for feedback from your clients so you can grow your business. If you need help on that, just put a comment below. I'll be happy to talk to you for free. I don't understand why I go to LGS stores and their bathroom light doesn't work. I don't know why I go to LGS stores and it stinks and there's like chips on the floor all the time and it's like mold everywhere. It's disgusting. Seriously, it's important that the experience for your customers is, you know, the highest level, because you want them back in the door to buy more Magic the Gathering product. And this is where the fine line comes in, is that Magic itself, Wizards, needs to look at LGS stores, not just say, oh, you have a store? Great. Yeah, how many boxes do you want? Great. Okay, great. Check. How about quality? How are you going to display our products? How are you promoting the products? Are you involved in the community? Man, it is so important that the LGS stores and Wizards works together to grow their business. There's so much that can be done for Magic to grow. Yet there's this massive decline, whatever number you want to put out there, but double-digit decline of Magic. My recommendations in this video are my opinions, but there's a lot of fact and truth to it because it's been working for Disney. I bring up Walt Disney because they have stood the test of time and have given this ongoing nostalgia. It doesn't matter if you're 90 years old, you still go back to Disney. You still want to go to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Even if you're in a wheelchair, even if you can, you're on crutches or whatever, right? Even if you're like a little kid, it doesn't matter. You still go back. Even if you're an adult, a 20-year-old, you still go back. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Patrons, $75 each for these decks. 2, 3, 4. Those are the tiers. They'll be on below. I wish you guys all a great holiday. Put your comments below. What do you guys think? We'll talk to you soon.